Hello and welcome back to my channel. Today we are talking about what is the one thing that changed so much in my life that when I look back, I see the biggest difference and most growth and how I did it and where it came from and what it is today. So today, this is what we're discussing. We're discussing what's one thing that keeps most people back, the one thing that stops us to getting to our dreams, the one thing that makes us feel we are not worthy, we are not enough. And there lies a secret. We feel we are not enough. And that is exactly where I was. Everything I did felt like I was never enough. No matter how much I did, I wasn't good enough. I wasn't strong enough. I wasn't clever enough. I wasn't great enough. I wasn't. And it became a thing in my life of I was not enough. And when I sat down and realized this for the first time, I realized how many years of not enoughness I robbed myself from because one, I didn't know it was there. Not until it was pointed out by one of my life coaches. That's what life coaches do. We kind of push the buttons that nobody else wants to, right? So when I realized that it stemmed from a very deep subconscious belief within me from programming myself year after year after year after year. And remember, your programming starts as little as before the age of 7. Most of your programming is done by then. And I mean, we can't even remember how far back that is. But when you think about it, as a kid, like what were the things that you went through? What were you thinking? Oh, half of us don't remember. So how do we understand where this belief comes from? But I realized I can try and investigate this until I'm blue, or I can try and change it. And I realized that if I changed that belief, that picture I had in my mind of myself to a better picture and start working at that picture, that's where life's going to change. So the first thing that I did was I made signs everywhere. I took a lipstick, wrote it on the mirror. I put it on my door. I wrote it on a piece of paper. I put it on a pin-up board. I put it everywhere, everywhere. First thing in the morning, I woke up. I saw I am enough. I saw I am enough everywhere. I even put one on my fridge. It was everywhere. I even had it as a screensaver. And with just seeing it all the time and then thinking it over and over, I started doing the opposite because for years and years, I've been telling myself I'm not enough or felt I wasn't enough in whatever way, even though I didn't physically say it or speak it, I always felt like it. Now, all of a sudden, I was changing things up and reminding myself that actually I am enough. I have just as much right as any other person. I am enough in what I'm doing. I am working really hard. I'm trying really hard. And if you're giving all that you have, that is enough. But for some reason, I always felt like I was not enough. And it made me work harder. And then the results came back and it was the same or worse. And then you eventually feel like, hold on a second, I want to give up. This is not cool anymore. I don't like this anymore, right? This is not fun. So there was my first obstacle. The thing I learned the most from was I am not enough. And then I went into some hypnotherapy with Marissa Peer, and I started listening to her and I went on her course of I am not enough. And I started working on this image I had built up of myself after all these years. So if I look back, and that's the fun part, and I challenge you today, do the same. Like look back in your life and see how much you've grown because you don't notice until you look back. So if I look back now and I go back 5 years and I realize like, or 10 years or 15 years, like, yes, certain things in my life happened that made me believe that. But now I'm sitting on the other scale saying that I also had a hand in it because I kept on thinking the same thing over and over again. So now what I'm doing is I'm purposefully changing that and I'm stepping up my game all the time. So if I look back, I'm seeing a very different person to who I was a few years ago. And now looking forward, because now I'm at this point where I wanted to be, and now looking forward, I'm looking at my life to the person I want to become then. So it becomes like climbing a ladder rather than keep falling off the ladder. And finally, I feel enough. I feel like what I'm doing is enough. Sure, we can all improve on what we're doing. But if your subconscious belief is you're not enough, that's when life falls apart. And today's message is short but sweet and powerful. If you have this feeling of, or thought, or just, you just have this something in you that goes, yeah, I can relate to that. Some days I just feel like no matter what I do, I can't get there. I'm just not enough. Like people don't recognize me. Like that is screaming at you saying, do something and do it right now. Because when you start working on it, the results speak for themselves. People start seeing you differently, you start seeing yourself differently, and life starts to change. And it has to start here. We expect that the world changes outside and then life would be better for us. Not the case. We change and then the world changes. So that's a great little intro to the weekend. Go and put some things up on your phone, on your walls, on your mirrors. Remind yourself of how enough you are, how much you are actually doing. And if you want to know more, let us know below. Go and find me. There's lots of links down where you can find me and we can work through it. I look forward to seeing you soon. Have an awesome weekend. Bye.